On the night of April 11th into April 12th, 1981, 4 people were killed inside a small vacation cabin in Keddie, California. In the very next room, 2 young boys and another child slept through it all and were found unharmed. It became one of California's most enduring unsolved cases. One victim, a 12-year-old girl, would not be found until years later, dozens of miles from where she vanished. Keddie was a quiet mountain resort community in Plumas County, tucked into the Sierra Nevada. Cabin 28. There was home to Glenna Sue Sharp and several of her children in the spring of 1981. Sue Sharp shared the cabin with her teenage son John, her 12-year-old daughter Tina, and her 2 younger sons. That night, her 14-year-old daughter Sheila was staying at a nearby cabin with a friend. John Sharp's friend, Dana Wingate, was also at Cabin 28 that evening. By the next morning, all 3 of them, Sue, John and Dana, would be dead. On the morning of April the 12th, Sheila returned home from her friend's cabin. What she found inside Cabin 28 would begin one of the strangest investigations in California history. Sheila discovered the bodies of her mother, Sue Sharp, her brother John, and John's friend Dana Wingate inside the cabin. She immediately went for help. In an adjoining room of the same cabin, Sue's 2 younger sons and a neighbouring child were found alive and physically unharmed, having apparently slept through whatever happened just feet away. But one member of the household was missing entirely from the crime scene, 12-year-old Tina Sharp. She was nowhere to be found in or around Cabin 28. Investigators processing the scene recovered 2 knives and a hammer. One of the knives was reportedly bent, consistent with the force used during the attack. The home showed extensive blood spatter concentrated in the living room, pointing investigators toward where the violence had taken place. In the days and weeks that followed, investigators worked to piece together what had happened at Keddie, but no arrest followed. Tina Sharp remained missing, and her fate was unknown. For nearly 3 years, Tina's disappearance sat alongside the murders as an open question. Investigators continued examining leads throughout the early 1980s without formally charging anyone. Then in April 1984, a discovery finally answered part of the mystery. Human skeletal remains were found at Camp 18 in Butte County of State, roughly 62 miles from Keddie. The remains, including a skull, were identified as belonging to Tina Sharp. She had been missing for 3 years since the night her family was killed. How Tina came to be found so far from Cabin 28 and what happened to her in the time between remained unanswered questions for investigators. Over the following decades, Plumas County investigators and other agencies examined multiple leads and a number of potential persons of interest connected to the case. Despite this ongoing work, no suspect was ever formally charged in connection with the deaths at Cabin 28, or the discovery of Tina Sharp's remains. The case went cold for years, drawing renewed attention periodically as investigators revisited old evidence using newer forensic techniques. In March 2016, a hammer matching the description of one connected to the original investigation was recovered from a pond near the Keddie Resort. That hammer was entered into evidence and sent for forensic testing more than 3 decades after the murders had occurred. By 2018, Plumas County investigators announced that newly tested DNA evidence, along with other previously overlooked material, had brought them closer than ever to identifying who was responsible. Even with this progress, the Keddie Cabin Murders remain officially unsolved. No suspect has ever been charged in the deaths of Sue Sharp, John Sharp, Dana Wingate, or Tina Sharp. Over more than 4 decades, various names have been publicly floated by outside sources and past investigators as persons of interest. None has ever been charged, and this account makes no claim about who was responsible. Plumas County's investigation into the case remains open. Authorities have indicated that forensic testing tied to the hammer recovered in 2016, along with other physical evidence, continues to be part of that ongoing effort. More than 40 years after that night in Cabin 28, Sue Sharp, John Sharp, Dana Wingate and Tina Sharp are still waiting for answers investigators have yet to provide. The Keddie Cabin. Murders remain a reminder that some cases, no matter how much time passes, are never truly closed for the families left behind.